Well, buenas tardes to whoever's going to join me here with mis amigos. Tenemos Goofy, Donaldo y Nini. Pero, ¿dónde está Mickey? ¿Dónde está? Hola, Dora. Pues, está en la escuela y Minnie está muy triste porque Mickey no está. All right, so I hope you guys are all doing well during these times, and thank you all so much for joining me. Hola, everybody. So here we are today. I'm gonna hold up upstairs because my husband's on conferences all day. Hola, Timoteo. Timoteo, gracias por tu mensaje ayer. So you can see I'm here on page 10, and here we're talking about the concept. I miss you guys too. We're talking about preterite and imperfect in the same sentence. So when I'm looking at this, we have this concept of, which you guys know, this whole, right, this is my background information that's happening. That would be the imperfect. And then you have an incident that occurs, and that's my interrupting action. So, oftentimes we see this with cuando, and here you see this. We have yo me duchaba, right? This is what's happening. I was showering when Juanita called on the phone. So, a lot of times if you're not sure whether you should be using the preterite or the imperfect, especially if you have two things in a sentence, what we're looking for is that whole was whatevering, were whatevering. That would indicate the imperfect. So, you guys that, hola señora, you guys that have, are for our students, you should be checking your work here on this page. So you see like number 3, my sisters were bathing, right, in the ocean, which is basically like saying swimming, when a shark appeared. So this is that were bathing, that ing, and then we have that interrupting action, scarily enough, that a shark would appear. So if you take a look at each of these, right, Clara was constructing a sandcastle, right, or building, when a wave destroyed it. Okay, there's that lo, there's that it. It's my direct object pronoun. Okay, so on this page, one more time, I just want to show you the answers because I want to try and get through everything that Miss Picente and I have planned for today. So this is that background information, right? This is the whole concept of this type of thing, and then you have your interrupting action. Okay. Any questions on this page? Feliz cumpleaños, Dorgarita, by the way. What do you guys think? Can I get a thumbs up if people are saying that looks good so I can move on to the next page? What do you guys think? All right. Well, thank you. Gracias, Pablo. Hola, gracias, Gabby. Okay. Oh, gracias, Jordan, and everybody else. Oh, hola, Juan. What are you doing here, Mitch? Okay. So next page. Look, I spilled something. Oh, well. All right. So here I am on the next page. This, I think, is a bit more complicated because now we're taking a look at every single thing. So bit by bit, remember this whole concept of was whatever ing, were whatever ing. So that's what's happening here in number 1, right? They were eating when the dog began to bark, right? That's my interrupting action, right? She was dancing. Now this is important. Number 2, some of you guys might have missed this, right? She was dancing while her friend was reading. She was not interrupted. That, thanks, Natalia. She was not interrupted by the reading. They were just happening at the same time. That's why they would both be the imperfect. Okay? Her boyfriend was taking out the ring when she got mad. Okay? Number 4, in August. That gives me a specific time. It's a completed action. Okay? Number 5, we were going to Europe when. This is important. This is what we're going to talk about later on today. Verbs that change meaning. Okay? So this is, right, the plane had mechanical problems because it's had, and it's what we want it to mean, right? Those verbs that change meaning, if it's what we want it to mean in the past, it's going to be in the imperfect. Okay? Down here, right, we went to Europe. I have a specific time here. It's a completed action because I have a specific time. If I look here, right, she drank coffee in a restaurant, right, yesterday. Yesterday she was eating in a restaurant when her boyfriend stopped. Okay, like stopped by. The last weekend I decided to go to the movie theater. There's a completed action. Okay, so let's go through 10. Last weekend I was going to the movie theater when. Anybody remember what darse cuenta means? Right? Darse cuenta de. What is that? That's a really important, great checkpoint because I see a lot of level 3 people are here with me too. Darse cuenta de. What does that mean? Right? I was going to the movie theater when what? What? Anybody know what darse cuenta de means? Close. To, right? To realize. Yep, I realized. Good job to Timoteo. Gracias, Angelica. That I did not bring money. Either I brought the money or I didn't bring the money. So it's a completed action. It's one or the other. Number 11, we're talking about time, right? When I arrived at work. Back then, this is a new expression. En aquel entonces, that's a really good expression to know. Back then, this is like I used to. And on top of that, I have these clue words, todos los días over here. Okay? El verano pasado, there's a specific time frame. It's a completed action. Same thing with 15 because we have por una hora. And then the regresó, I returned. And then here, 15, ella entró en la casa, colocó. ¿Cómo se dice colocar en inglés? Colocar. Colocó su bolsa en el sofá. There's another verb that means the same thing, but this is a great checkpoint, B1. Good guess. That's a good guess, Juan. That's coleccionar. Oh, gracias por ser honesto, Juan. Miss your sense of humor, buddy. Totally. Oh, that's colgar. Damar. Yes, good Gabby. To place, right? So she placed her bag on a sofa, right? She looked at herself in the mirror and left. There's corriendo, that would be ing, running. And then the last one, her father, right, became furious. That's like, this is a momentary thing that's happening. It's going to be the preterite. Furibundo, there's a good word. Cuando vio sus notas. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen to any of you guys. Any problems on this page? Can I get a thumbs up if we're okay to go on? I'm here because Pepe insisted he didn't want to make an Instagram. Oh, okay. Well, I miss you too, Angelica. And you tell Pepe that you are a very nice person. Thank you, Pablo. I appreciate that. All right, good. So we're good to move on to the next page. All right. So here on page 12, we're looking again at preterite versus imperfect. This whole packet, I know we just can't get enough of it. So when I look at this page, I'm really having to pay attention to these little details that are happening. So in number 1, I see ayer. We know that when we see ayer, typically it's going to indicate the preterite. Is there anybody who could tell me when would ayer indicate imperfect? Or I should say, when would be an example of ayer would be in the sentence, but we would use the imperfect anyways? So typically ayer we use preterite, but what would be some situations where I would see ayer and it would still be imperfect, even though I had ayer? Yes, yes, Yolanda, que inteligente eres. Yolanda, say it at home for me. Yo soy inteligente, right? If I'm talking about weather, if I'm stating a time of day, if I'm talking about somebody's physical state, okay? Or their emotional being. So if I look here, numero uno, typically that's going to indicate preterite, but not always level 4s, right? Number 2, I see estaba, typically when we're talking about emotions. Exactly, Gabby. When we're talking about location in number 2, typically, there you go, Yolanda. When I'm talking about location, I would be using imperfect, okay? Conoció, we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. These verbs that change meaning, whether you're talking about preterite or imperfect. So then numero 3, right? We know beginnings and endings, completed action, and we know beginnings and endings. That would be what? Beginnings and endings. Hola, Fonsi. For beginnings and endings, that's my B in Simba, which is going to indicate, thank you, good job, Dorgarita. Yep, good job, Juan. It's going to be the preterite. Yep, good job, Yolanda. So, número 4, cuando yo era niña, right, there's a description. When I was young, that siempre is telling me I need to use the imperfect, okay? Number 4, trabajaste por 3 horas. I have a specific time. It's a completed action. It's going to be the preterite. All right. So, numero 6, some people, and I'm going to talk about this again with verbs that change meaning with había. There's a little bit of confusion with había and hubo. But había mucha comida en la fiesta. That's a description. So remember, if I'm describing the party to you and I say, hey, close your eyes so you can get a better picture of it, that would be había, right? Número 7, we're going to talk about this in a second. Supe, because saber in the preterite really does not mean knew. It means found out. Found out, okay? Ocho, we know is weather, right? That's what Yolanda was telling us earlier. Good job again, Yolanda. Número 9, I see ayer, but when I look at this, Mama blank a package from Rosa. With tener, she's not going to had a packet from Rosa. That's going to be she received. That's another verb that changes meaning, and we're going to talk about that again in a minute. Okay, número 10, Carlos. Don't forget, you guys, if you look at number 10, let's take a look at that. It's an IR verb. So, do AR and ER verbs that stem change in the present, stem change in the preterite? That's my question. Do AR and ER verbs that stem change in the present, do they stem change in the preterite? What do you guys think? AR and ER verbs. Nope, you're right, Pablo. Right, exactly, Juan. Oh, que inteligente eres, Juan. Juan, repita, yo soy listo, right? It's only IR verbs. And that's that whole concept of, if you're looking at your verb chart, only your usted, elenea, oladan, only your usted, elenea, ustedes, seos, eneas forms. If it's an IR verb, we're going to stem change. That's why we call them soul verbs, right? Your low riders, your sandals verbs. Good job, Juan. So this is going to be PDO because it's an IR verb and it's the usted elenea form. Okay? While I was reading, my friend was preparing the dinner. So this is ongoing actions, both of them. Okay? Sabían. This is they knew absolutely everything on the test because it's new, right? I know saber means to know. I want it to mean to know in the past, so I have to use the imperfect. Okay? 13, this is a main event. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. This is a main event. It's got to be hubo. we see anoche to help us out. There was a fire in the school. Okay? Tenía, we're talking about age. Tenía, description, right? Ojos azules, that's the description. Eran, we're telling time. I have a specific number of times in 16. So this is where I see a bunch of 3s are visiting too. This is where if I'm talking about 4 times, if I have a specific number of times, that's going to be preterite. It's a completed action. And then number 15, fui. Okay? So 17, before we move on, any questions on this page? What do you guys think? Does this look okay to you? What's going on, Leo? Good. Gracias, Dorgarita. Gracias, Timoteo. Gracias, Angelica. Y Angelica. Dos Angelicas and Gabby. All right, so this page, oh, gracias, Caitlin. All right, check it out, you guys. Are we going to be quizzed? I'll come to that. Remind me to come back to that, Yolanda, okay? All right, so number 18, right? This is important, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, because creer is a mental action. It's a belief. You have to use the imperfect. Creer is one that you're going to use the imperfect. Same thing with pensar, okay? Estabas, that's my emotion. It's going to be a physical state, right? An emotion, it's going to be the imperfect. Number 19, the verb querer changes meaning when you're talking about it, preterite versus imperfect. So since it means what I want it to mean, right? Didn't want, I'm going to use the imperfect. Versus, right? When you didn't want something for one time, and we'll talk about that, you would be refusing that. That would be the preterite. And then number 20, when I was watching TV, my uncle, oh, there's my finger, my uncle arrived to visit us. That's going to be an interrupting action. Okay? This hacía 3 horas, right? This is like it had been going on for 3 hours. Okay? That we were walking on the beach. We're going to talk about these hace expressions on Tuesday with Miss Picente. So, that, of course, if this you should have imperfect. At the bottom here, I always would go to my grandmother's house. That we know always is generally going to be the imperfect. Okay? This one here. We used to play cuando éramos pequeños, jugábamos en el parque. Here we have yo quise muchas veces, right? And I managed, right? I was able. That's going to be preterite. Okay? Notice, by the way, el problema. What would be another example of a word like el problema? That it's el, but it ends in a. What would be another example of a word like that? Can anybody think of one that also would be that? It's masculine, but it ends in A. Yes, good, Yolanda. Oh, you're on fire, Yolanda. Yes, good job, Dora. El agua. Yes, good, Pablo. El agua. Yep, exactly. Good job, Angelica. El agua. Yep. El problema. El tema. Okay. El clima is another one. So I used to know, that would be conocía. We see used to, and because we're talking about people, we of course know conocer and saber. Okay? Are there questions there? What do you guys think? Thumbs up. We ready to move on? For 24, could we say niños instead of pequeños? Yes, for sure you could, Gabby. Yeah, that would be okay. Any other for that one? All right, let's, looking for, okay. Oh, there's my bag. All right, so I want to go here, you guys. This you don't have, but I just want to, this is a handout from level 3. So, I showed this to my fours on Friday. I don't know how many of you guys wrote this stuff down, but as I was going over the answer key for these things, I thought this was important. And really the preterite, I think you guys have all of this information. It's more the imperfect that I want to check out for a second here. So when you're talking about the imperfect, waters covers a great deal of stuff, but what it does not cover is this. When you're talking about the imperfect, you're wanting to make sure it covers location. So if you're talking about where you're located, okay? But this part right here, this sentence. So, oh, good, Angelica, eres bien responsable. So this line right here, you're talking about your attitudes, your beliefs, your hopes, your wants, your needs, and your plans, okay? So with these verbs that you can think of, like how do you say to believe? What verb means to believe? Anybody know? To believe. Yes, you're creer, right? Crecer means to grow. You're close, Yolanda. Creer means to believe, right? How about to plan? Yes, good. Good, Damar. How about to plan? What do you think for to plan? Yes, planear, pensar, followed by infinitive. Good job, Patricia. Way to go. You too, Dora. Good job, Ayana. Yes, planear, right? Hopes, esperar, wants, querer, right? When you're talking about those, and that's what it means, you want to make sure you're using imperfect, okay? So if you go back to this bottom part is what we're going to talk about right now, which is in the front of our packet. Okay? You have 7 verbs that change meaning. Okay? Hey, no talking children. Stay quiet, please. If that helps you to remember it, great. To me, it makes sense. And I'm going to talk about why in a minute. But no querer in the preterite, here's what they mean, right? So, haber is one when you're talking about hubo. This is what we consider a main event. And in your homework, you saw this. There was a fire at the school was the sentence. I look at this, the best way to remember this would be, hubo would be, you have a news reporter who has a microphone and they're reporting about something big that happened. There was a fire. There was an accident. There was a thunderstorm, there was a snowstorm, whatever, something big that's worthy of reporting, okay? There was an exam in English class. That's kind of a semi-decent example. I would say a lot of times with hubo as a main event, think of it as something, it's going to be essentially something that we want to remember. What's the big thing about preterite? A completed action, and we know it's a completed action. That's important too. Okay? No querer, refused. If you don't want to do something, think about this. This whole section here, right, where I'm showing you right now, these verbs, if you remember the be, right, the beginning and the ending, the be and Simba, these are all like the beginnings of what each of those verbs means. So querer means to want, right? To not want, the beginning of that, you're refusing it. You're not wanting it. You're refusing to eat the Brussels sprouts, whatever it is. So that would be quis. Same thing with tener. The first time I have something, I receive it. The first time I know something, or someone, is someone, that's going to be conocer. You met them. Same thing, the first time I know a fact, I found something out. Same thing with these two down here. If you really think about it, I wanted to call you. The first time I wanted, I tried. I attempted. But, which makes more sense to me, for the imperfect, which is on page 2 of our packets, to really clarify. This is the easy part, and here it is. These verbs carry the original meanings in the imperfect tense. So if I take a verb like conocer and I say, okay, I want it to say knew, okay, it's got to be in the imperfect because that's what I want it to mean. Okay? So, first of all, do you guys have any questions? Let me answer questions first. Anybody have any questions? Are you feeling good? Can I get a thumbs up if you're feeling good about it? Yeah, I'm coming to that in a second, Yolanda. Thanks for the reminder for sure. Any questions about the preterite and the imperfect? All right, Cameron's feeling good on Helika. Yep. Timoteo. Yeah, Lupe. Okay. All right. So what I would say to you is this. Number one, let me just remind you guys that today you're talking about page, by the time you get to Miss Picente's live review on Tuesday, so for today and tomorrow, pages 15 and 16, okay? So for today and tomorrow, pages 15 and 16, and then it will come out to you tomorrow or sometime this weekend, the schedule for next week, and that schedule is going to be pages 21 and 22. So we're kind of skipping ahead because we want to be able to talk about assay expressions before you do anything. In regards to Yolanda's question about are we going to be graded, as of right now, all quizzes and tests are on hold. So regardless of what you're taking, all quizzes and tests are on hold. Now, you guys that are taking the course for Oswego credit, we are in contact with SUNY Oswego. We've changed some of our curriculum to work on some other stuff that would not be as difficult to teach from afar. So we're moving on to a novel in a couple of weeks, a graphic novel that's going to start the week after next. But as far as quizzes and tests, no. Right now, the answer to that is no. So Juan, just to clarify, tonight and tomorrow, you're working on pages 15 and 16. So again, 15 and 16 for today and tomorrow. And then next week, Monday, Tuesday, really Monday is 21 and 22. So by the time Miss Picente comes on Tuesday at 12:30, you should be ready to go over 15, 16, 21, and 22. And really, you guys, it's what you put into it that's what you're going to get out of it. I see there's 24 of you guys here, and that's awesome because you guys want to make sure you're getting the best of your education. This will be saved live for 24 hours. I check my email regularly. I'm trying to touch base once a day to make sure, just checking on you guys and making sure that you're okay. And just, trying to lighten the mood if we can and look for the silver lining and stuff. So, unless you guys have any other questions, I sure hope you're doing fine. I've been enjoying spending more time with my dogs, that's for sure, and they're happy that I'm home. I'm sure you heard Archie earlier. But if you have questions, please do not hesitate to email either me or Miss Picente. And until then, stay well. Miss you guys. Hola, señorita. Miss you guys terribly, to be honest with you. And just take care of yourselves and get those pages done. 15, 16, 21, 22. Oh, gracias, Juan. All right. So you guys be well. Nice weather out. Go outside, take a walk. Be kind to the people who are in those four walls with you. Dorgarita, you enjoy your birthday as much as you can. Hopefully you have a cake of some sort. And gracias, Fonsi. And just take care of yourselves. Oh, hola, Lupe. All right. Signing off for now. Hearts to you all. Hasta luego, Timoteo. And go for a walk around that block. All right. Bye.